Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Detective Butler, Maiden Voyage Murder. So in the last one, Govano got murdered in an elevator, or at least that's where we found his body. So let's just get right into this. I'm really intrigued. He's dead. He's dead. He's really dead. And the realization sinks into my mind. Captain Jack and his bodyguards arrive at the scene. Even the infirmary's nurse has rushed into the elevator to check my father's corpse. Cecilia had called them here to the moment we discovered the body. I can only wonder how much time it took for them to get here, though. I've been frozen on this floor since. Apparently, after having the nurse and his bodyguards investigate the corpse, they declared my father's death a murder. Please, everyone, remain calm. This is a crime scene, so I need to close the elevator off until the police get here. The police? I'll talk to Shoop as soon as possible, too. What the hell happened to him? I want to know what happened. Calm down, Eliza. We'll figure everything out. It just takes time. Don't worry, I'll keep everything under control. If word gets out too quickly, the whole ship will be in a panic. I'd rather avoid that. Where's the key? I have it. I finally stand up facing the captain. Gilligan, return it to me right now. I must preserve the scene of the crime for the police. Right. I've turned the key to its rightful owner, the captain of the ship. Jack releases the emergency button and allows the doors to close. He then inserts the key to lock, turning it to lock the elevator in place. Until the ship docks, I'll be holding onto this key. The elevator is off limits until then. But will everyone be safe? I'll have my guards patrol every deck. Rest assured, they'll take care of everything. The one who had the elevator key, whoever had the key last, did they kill my father? It may be too early to start pointing fingers. I want to find out who did this. First my mother, now my father. There's no one left. I can't let this criminal go unpunished. I'm going to find the culprit no matter what. You've gone through more than you should have, Gilligan. Oh my god. I'm really sorry. Damn it. Why? Why did he have to die? I feel so stupid right now. In a rush, I try to pull open the door to my room, but it's locked and I still don't have my own key. Cecilia, open the door. Please. Here. I fall face first onto the mattress of my bed, burying my face inside a pillow. Why? Why does it happen to me? Why aren't my parents alive? I don't know that my parents have to die. I know my parents have to die eventually, but isn't this just too soon? Can I just lie here on this bed from now on? Do I really have to get up and face the facts? When people are confronted with the truths they can't handle, they try to run away from them as fast as they can. It's the immediate response of human nature. Isn't that what the butler said? I can't confront this truth. I've dealt with it before, right? Losing a parent isn't anything new to me, and yet I still fear it. I don't think anyone would object to saying that it's too difficult to lose someone close to you. But while one thing to agree with the thought process, it's another to actually admit that you've gone through it. Truth or happiness. I can't have both. And how happy I would be to just lie here and not have to face this truth. But that isn't how life works. Facing the truth is necessary. Isn't that what Butler said? I sit up, wipe off the tears from my face. What do I do now? This isn't a cruise or vacation anymore. It's become something entirely different. And I have to accept that for what it is. It's a call to action to find the killer. Perhaps if my father had died in a less suspicious manner, I would be so quick to call it that. However, the way his corpse was found in the elevator, along with the careful placement of the keys in both my room and the elevator itself, there's no doubt that he was murdered, and the culprit wanted me to find his corpse. More than anything, I want to know why he had to die, and for how it happened. I'm not sure at all, and I don't really care too much either. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door. I sit up, walk to the door, and look through the small peephole. It's Cecilia. What is it? Gilligan, you seemed, upset. So I thought I'd... Yeah, I'm upset. What does it matter to anyone? Is there anything I could do for you? I don't know. Cecilia steps inside despite my uncertain remark. It's almost as if she doesn't know what to say. No, as if she does know what to say, but doesn't know how to say it. What are we supposed to do now? What am I supposed to do now? What, is that what you want to know? If I could, I'd just forget this ever happened. But because I know that won't be possible, there's only one thing left I can do. I have to find out who killed him. And why. So in other words, you want closure. That might be a better way of putting it. Not only closure for what happened just now, but the past 10 years too. Having that closure be the murder of my father isn't exactly what I had in mind. I may have said that I thought I'd never get along with him again, but that was just a lie. In the back of my mind, I did want things to get better between us. I had hoped that my teenage rebellion would do the trick, but I guess that doesn't work on some people. Everything I disliked about him. Now, the only things I disliked about him were things related to the company. GG Inc. I even blamed him for my mom's death. Even if he had become someone I hardly consider my own father, he still considered me his son. And so he did his best to make sure things wouldn't go wrong for me like they did for him. Back when my father was a kid, his family was very poor. He must have hated that. He must have hated so much that he thought he'd spare me the trouble lifestyle by working hard himself. In that case, it's horribly ironic that I never accepted his way of affection for me, and now it's too late to do anything about it. Why don't you just ask the dead person how they died? I'm really sorry that I can't be much of help. And wasn't there, it's fine. There was a journal entry. Okay. Gilligan Boulder. He was found dead in the haunted elevator. Nearby was a key card to a room and a diary message. SOS. After finding my father's corpse, he said, course for land so the police can investigate. Room 503 was found in the elevator near my father's corpse. Gilligan's corpse. Nearest, my father's corpse was found in the haunted elevator. Part of his head was covered in blood. Additional blood can be found in the clothes in the back of the wall. And in his chest. Oh my god. Near his hand, which was covered in blood, is a mysterious diary message, as well as the key card to our room. Diary message. Diary message written in dried blood, found near my father's corpse. It looks like it says SOS. A type of distress signal ships send out when they're in danger. Was this my father's final call for help? Or maybe its initials. It's fine. I'll just have to dig deeper here to find out the truth. Detective Butler? Dig deeper? What do you mean by that? There's a few details about this whole thing I find kind of strange. For instance, the elevator key we found earlier, right here in this room. How exactly was it placed in here, and why? There's really only two people who could have placed it here. It had to be someone who had a way to get into this room. So it was either my father, or it was you. Well, I came by your room before 2 o'clock to clean, while the two of you were away. I didn't see that key anywhere. So if the key had been left in this room, it must have been after 2 o'clock. Wait a minute. I came around the same time. Did you hear somebody knock on the door while you were cleaning? I did. And I got really scared, so I hid inside the closet until they left. Was that you? If you hadn't been such a scaredy cat, I could have gotten inside my room a lot sooner. Oh well. There are more important things to think about right now. Sorry. Anyway, I find the elevator key to be really out of place. Who would have left it inside my room and why? Was it my father? I suppose he's the only one who could have, right? Only he had a key card to get into the room. But if he's the one who placed the elevator key, then how can we find it dead inside the locked elevator? He must have been alive when he placed the key in here, but dead by the time it was used to lock the elevator? Unless there was 2 keys. That doesn't make any sense at all. I think there's 2 keys. It's a pair of ducks. You mean a paradox? Yeah. What do you think I said? Pair of ducks. That's what you said. No matter how she pronounced it, Cecilia was right. This was a paradox. Or there's 2 keys. We found the elevator key inside this locked room, but we also had found the only other key to the room locked inside the elevator. Or someone could have jumped onto their deck and came in from that way, dropped the key, locked the elevator, ran around, jumped down, jumped onto their deck, placed in the room, jumped out, then got back on, or like left the room, then locked it behind them because the door's automatically locked. That's another thing. But you also have to find the keys. I don't think society would be really involved in something like this. But she does come up as a very likely suspect. At the very least, she had access to a master key. She could be lying about not placing the elevator key too. But I'm willing to believe her, so we're not left too many options. Like I said, the only other person who have entered this room at all could have been my father. You are not thinking about this from a detective point of view. That is, unless his key was taken from him. Maybe I'm getting somewhere. My father said he returned to my room by 2 o'clock, but he clearly hadn't. Perhaps that was because he'd already been killed by that time. Once dead, the killer easily took his key, used it to enter the room, so clearly it could have been anyone. You mean if we think about who could have entered the room, we're also figuring out who killed your father? Who was trying to sit back and wait for the ship to reach land? With my father's killer aboard, I have to take some action. If we think about this hard enough, we can catch the culprit before they can get away. I take out a pen and start to draw some nearby stationery. Let's consider this a diagram of my room, 503. The elevator key was found inside of it, so just after 7 p.m. That's a whole 5 hours since Cecilia had last entered the room. And one of the 2 keys to 503 was found inside the elevator alongside my father's corpse. But the problem is that the elevator was locked prior to this fact. I mean, there's other keys from other maids. We have to ask the question, how is this possible? Cross-off Cecilia was, as suspected, only as my father's key as a means of getting into room 503, but it was locked inside the elevator. No, every other maid has a key, and the elevator's key was locked inside room 503. Together, with these 2 rooms locked, form a greater mystery than they could alone. Simultaneously locked rooms, with each room's key locked inside the other. As if they call an impossible crime. Perhaps there's a simple way around the paradox that we haven't yet considered. Well, there's only one way around it. The culprit must have used a different key to enter room 503. That's if they used your master key. Oh, I knew you'd expect me at some point. I don't know what to tell you, but I know for sure I didn't have anything to do with this. No, I mean, just because it was your key doesn't mean you're the culprit. The real culprit would need to steal your key, use it, and then return it to you. So we could discover the crime in the first place. Oh, I see. But why would anyone steal one of my keys without me knowing? It's not like I could easily misplace it like my metal keys. It's in my shirt pocket behind my vest. I guess it would be obvious if anyone tried to steal it from you then. Yeah, I don't think that would work at all. I noticed right away. Instead, let's try looking from the other way around, starting with my room and then going to the elevator. In that case, the situation makes a lot more sense. The culprit first approaches the elevator, unlocks it, but doesn't leave the key inside yet. The culprit merely pressed the button to hold the elevator doors open, leave the elevator key in my room, and then go back to the elevator, which was open the whole entire time. Ah, now that's clever. But I think there's something wrong with it. What's wrong with that solution? The elevator was locked. Doesn't it work out nicely? Well, when you find your father, you have to unlock the elevator, right? The elevator's door doesn't lock automatically, so it's not like they could just let the doors out and expect the elevator to lock itself. Oh. The very fact that I was able to unlock the elevator meant it had to be locked in the first place. Combined with the fact that the door cannot be locked on its own, my theory fails to hold up. Darn it. This really is an impossible puzzle. I told you, it's not as easy as it seems. There was, of course, still a possibility that Cecilia herself could have been the one to commit the crime, using her own master key, but I really don't want to believe it. Get Detective Butler on the case! Deciding that we've done enough theorizing for now, Cecilia and I leave the room. We find everyone is still gathered around the elevator door in the hallway. So what did I miss? The nurse checked the body. We have no choice but to wait for the police to investigate themselves. We also talked about the irregular placement of those keys. If you think about it, you'll realize it's a paradox. Yeah, we thought about that too. But we couldn't think of any ways to make sense of it. You're free to speculate all you want, but the ship is set to return to land in a few hours. So it won't be long. Well, perhaps 3 heads are better than 2. Eliza came up with an interesting solution if you'd like to hear it. Is it like the solution I came up with? That's right. There's no reason to hide it from you either. So I'll just tell you right now what we're thinking. Gilligan, you and that maid, you 2 killed Galvano together. What? That's not true at all. You're suspecting me of killing my own father? It's no secret that you didn't like him. Your motive was greed because you obviously had the most to gain from his death. And hearing his fortune would be the best reason to kill him. I can't believe you think that. And you know how you did it? After easily luring your father into the elevator, the maid helped you create the closed room paradox by giving you her master key. Sorry, Gilligan. I didn't want to believe it, but it does make a lot of sense, doesn't it? That's right. Gilligan, you have means, motive, and opportunity. No, I don't know how to prove it to you, but you just have to take my word that I didn't kill him. Your word means nothing. It's your actions that matter. Jeez, what a loudmouth. That stupidity getting spewed out here is giving me brain damage. Sitting atop of the stairs leading to the 4th deck was Detective Butler. Butler! The one and only. Just got back from the infirmary, and boy does my head hurt. Remind me never to get vodka here again. Butler? Oh right, aren't you that reporter guy from yesterday? Yeah, I'm that reporter guy, and I've been listening for a while now. Galvano's dead and you're suspecting Gilligan. How dull. Dull? I didn't kill him! Isn't there some way to prove it? I know you didn't kill him, Gilligan. You're not bright enough to carry out a murder, especially if Cecilia is the accomplice. What a joke that'd be. Hey! And second, I don't think you're a liar. You might not be the brightest guy, but you haven't and I have gotten along with your dad, but at least you're honest about it. And that's a good thing. Where's the evidence that proves Gilligan didn't do it? Where's the evidence that proves he did? It's a little something called burden of proof. I hadn't really thought of any. Exactly. Just having the means, motive, and chance to kill doesn't make the person a culprit. You need to use your head a bit before accusing people. Everyone here is likely a suspect. You shouldn't single out poor Gilligan just because he happens to be a good scapegoat. I suppose so. Sorry for jumping the gun. Think about it. The easiest way to prove Gilligan's not the culprit is to find the real one. You can prove a negative, but only by disproving the positive. Get it? That's some twisted logic. But I like it. Of course you'd like it. Everyone likes my logic. Anyway, that's all that there is to it. Ciao. The detective passes through the hall, walking at a brisk pace towards his room. Wait! Don't go! You're the only person who can solve this. You're a detective, right? Now there's a killer on this ship, and if we don't do anything more, people will end up dead. I only take cases that interest me. Sorry, but this case just sounds boring. Wealthy seal getting killed on his vacation is pretty cliche. It's too dull. Not worth my time. What will it take you to get you interested? What's an interesting case for you? Don't know. Got any ideas? Butler continues to walk towards his room, calm and collected. What about being a journalist? Wouldn't this be a good story? I don't like publicity. Maybe I'll report about how the crime happened, but I'll never say that I solved it. It brings too much unwanted attention from idiots like you. How are you expecting to come in the world's greatest detective if you don't take any cases? That can't always be interesting, you know? You really want me to help you out, huh? What's the deal? Why do you care so much about solving it? Because he's my father, and I can't let criminal go unpunished. But you're too stupid to solve the case, so you want me to do it for you. Is that right? How am I supposed to? The key to the elevator was found in my room, which was locked, and the key to the room was found in the elevator. It's a paradox, an impossible crime. Impossible, you say? Nothing's impossible for me to solve. This case might be interesting after all. I don't solve any crimes for fame or publicity. It's about staving off boredom. Like playing a game. A game? Is this a game to you? Yes. When people are bored, they play games. For me, I solve mysteries. That's my kind of game. And if I think a game is boring, then there's no point in playing it. But this impossible crime is a puzzle. So you're drawn to the puzzle, huh? If you ever read a Gold Age mystery novel, you'd actually know that big names back then considered their books to be puzzle games between author and reader. It's kind of like that, except I don't care about whether a mystery is written on paper or not. Even if the author I'm up against is God himself, I'll accept the challenge in a heartbeat. Oi, Captain! Tell me, where do you keep the elevator key? Oops. Answer me this time. You're demanding, aren't you? It's a special key, so it usually rests on my own key ring. Something happened last night. There's a rule among employees stating that they must return the key ring each day before sleeping. I received a knock on my door just at 2 a.m. and sitting outside was Cecilia. The bar had closed down and she was ready to turn in her key ring. However, she claimed it had gone missing and began to cry. I scolded her, punishing the clumsy maid with one simple task. I was willing to order my own key ring as a replacement. I wouldn't need one tomorrow anyway. Hence, Cecilia was given the key to the haunted elevator. Just to clarify, Jack, what keys are typically on these key rings? There are not too many. They're personal cabin keys, as well as the keys to the engine room, laundry room, storage room, boiler room, and the captain's room on the 6th deck. And that's the same for every employee's key ring, including yours, except there's only one elevator key. That's right? That's right. That's right, Cecilia? Jackson telling a bunch of books. That's right. It's embarrassing to admit it, but he gave me a replacement key ring last night. And those are the keys our key rings typically hold. Very good, then. Butler tries to open the elevator, pressing the button, but nothing happens. Is it locked? Yes, I locked it just moments ago. To preserve the crime scene until the police get here. Mind if I take a look inside? I promise I'll be careful. Keeping the crime scene intact until the authorities get here. Wise decision, but you know, I am an authority, news reporter extraordinaire, and also detective. You have no reason to refuse me to look at the scene. You mean you want a first-hand look at the scene to write about for the paper? I suppose it's fair enough, but only once. Convinced by Detective Butler's so-called reporter's authority, Jack unlocks the elevator door, and Butler presses the button again. The inside of the elevator is still decorated with blood. Butler nonchalantly steps inside, pressing the button to keep the doors open. He then approaches my father's corpse, bending down to examine it in detail. So this is the guy, huh? Shame we never met while he was alive. Butler looks at my father's hand, noticing the key card on the floor. So this is Galvano's key. And there's some spilled blood nearby, possibly a dying message. What does it say? SOS as a distress symbol, save our ship? Butler takes a look at my father's corpse once again. This time he inspects the wounds, trying to ascertain the cause of death. Cuts. You can see his shirt is a bit torn up. Stab wounds all over his chest. 28 stab wounds. Yep. Looks like his head got the brunt of it, though. Some murder weapon came from something sharp like a knife. But there are plenty in the dining hall. Someone could have easily taken one. No. Glass. Butler points to the floor. Looking hard enough I can see bits of glass scattered around, so his coat was simply made of glass. His head was also a bit bruised up in addition to the cuts. Blunt trauma, as they call it. Not sharp like a knife at all. Let's see. From the way he's lying on the side and the location of the wounds, I can reconstruct what happened. Kavana was killed in here. Smacked against the head with something made of glass. Shatters, he gets slammed against the wall and falls over. The glass flies everywhere. Culprit stabs him repeatedly, then after losing enough blood, he dies. Not before writing down a call for help. Yeah, he was killed in this elevator. No question about it. But that's all, so it looks like I have to do some investigating. The crime scene was a good start, but it's time to find some new evidence. So that's everything we can learn from the elevator itself. Rest in peace, Dad. Rest in peace, Sis. I should said. After Butler and I step out the elevator, Jack closes its doors one final time. Exonerated. Chapter 6. Investigation of Laughter. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see all you in the next one.